Hello and welcome back to A Chapter a Day. It is Tuesday, May the 21st, and we are still running concurrent with our readings, our chapter numbers, and our dates until the end of the month. So yesterday they buried Aaron, or they mourned Aaron. Aaron died on top of Mount Hor, as God had said that he and Moses would not be entering into the promised land because of their rebellion or disobedience in striking the rock instead of speaking to it. And I've heard a number of preachers said this was a significance. The rock represented Christ. So that's why they were so severely punished. So now we are going to move on to chapter 21 and let's hear what's taking place. And when King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard it tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow unto the Lord and said, If thou wilt indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And the Lord hearkened to the voice of Israel, and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against God and against Moses, Wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. Oh boy, here we go again. I think this is about the third time these people are murmuring against the food that God provided for them, what they named manna. So here we go again. Aaron has died. They've had so many run-ins with people murmuring and complaining and rebelling, and here they're doing it again against the food again, and that there's no water again after God. I'm wondering if these miracles only took place in tribes, so maybe one tribe didn't see what was happening when the other tribe was being blessed. I don't know, but here they go again. Let's see how God deals with this. Verse 6, And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, Make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that every one that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass, and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in Oboth. So, fiery serpents was their judgment this time. Remember, God was protecting the children of Israel from everything. While they were in the wilderness, no wild beasts came at them, no sun scorched them, that any of them died because of sun scorching them, or any windstorms or sandstorms or whatever the disasters might have been. Their shoes didn't give out, their clothes didn't get holes. They were being preserved literally by God, but they just did not seem to see God's hand in every aspect of their life. Sometimes that's like us. We have it so good that we think to ourselves, you know what, there should be more. This is not enough. I want more. And then when we do stop to look and see what other people are experiencing in their lives, we realize, you know what, our cup is running over. And we have to stop and ask God forgiveness for our complaining and grumbling and murmuring when we have been so blessed. And this is exactly what's happening here with them too. So God just maybe moved away the hedge of protection, and fiery serpents came in and bit them. And God told Moses, hey, if they want to live, You make a brass serpent, put it on a pole, and let them look at it, and looking at it will save them. And I think for a lot of us, if we ever looked at the symbol on the medical field for the profession of medicine, it is a serpent on a pole. And I always wondered why until I read the Bible some years ago and realized, oh, that's where it came from. Okay, I believe. Verse 11. So now they are pitching in Oboth. And they journeyed from Oboth and pitched at Ije-Abiram in the wilderness, which is before Moab, toward the sun rising. From thence they removed and pitched in the valley of Zared. From thence they removed and pitched on the other side of Arnon, which is in the wilderness that cometh out of the coast of the Amorites. For Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord, what he did in the Red Sea and in the brooks of Arnon. And at the stream of the brooks that goeth down to the dwelling of Ar, and lieth upon the border of Moab. So here we have the children of Israel moving on through the desert. Remember, every instance, they maybe, wherever they stop, they try to, move on as the cloud allows them. Remember, they are following that cloud. That's why I'm just so unsure as to why it was that they still lacked faith so greatly. With the symbol of God, in the cloud by day. So now they're going through so many different places, Moab, Zared, Arnon. So we're going to see now how they are going to fare with the wars between them and the inhabitants of all of these places. Verse 16, and from thence they went to Beer, that is the well whereof the Lord spake unto Moses, gather the people together, and I will give them water. Then Israel sang this song, spring up, O well, sing ye unto it. The princes digged the well, the nobles of the people digged it in the direction of the lawgiver with their staves. And from the wilderness they went to Mattanah, and from Mattanah to Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth in the valley, that is in the country of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which looketh toward Jeshimon. So they are singing and being thankful because they got water from the well that God had maybe instructed Moses to dig. And now that they are happy, they're singing, and they're moving on from one place to the next. Verse 21, and Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we be past thy borders. And Sihon would not suffer Israel to pass through his border. But Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness. And he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword, and possessed his land from Arnon unto Jabbok, even unto the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon and in all the villages thereof. So, this is what has happened. They have been going through from place to place. They are asking sometimes for the kings of the cities to let them through, promising not to touch any of their fields, not to drink any of their waters. Sometimes they were refused. Sometimes they had to fight their way through if there was no other way out or around. And we see in one instance where Sihon, he was, I believe, the king of one of the cities, he was king of the Amorites, did not allow the children through, and they had to fight him. And Israel smote him and possessed his land. So, when God is for you, I know it may seem unfair. What do they say? Oh boy. Well, in essence, if God is for you, God will give you your enemy's inheritance. And that's just the way it is. Because they took over the lands. Those were the lands God had promised his people from way back in Jacob's time, when Jacob became Israel. And now that they had to move again back to Egypt, they had to go to Egypt to escape the famine. These people inhabited all of these vacant lands. So now they are rightfully repossessing what God promised them in the first place. So let's see verse 26. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnon. Wherefore they that speak in Proverbs say, Come into Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and prepared. For there is a fire gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It has consumed Ar of Moab, and the lords of the high places of Arnon. Woe to thee, Moab, thou art undone, O people of Chemosh. He hath given his sons that escaped and his daughters into captivity unto Sihon, king of the Amorites. We have shut at them, Heshbon is perished, even unto Dibon, and we have laid them waste, even unto Nophah, which reacheth unto Medeba. So this has been a story told that the city of Sihon previously belonged to the Moabites, and the king of Sihon fought and took it over, and now Israel has fought him and has taken it over. Verse 31. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites, and Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they took the villages thereof, and drove out the Amorites that were there. And they turned and went up by the way of Bashan, and Og the king of Bashan went out against them, he and all his people, to the battle at Edrei. And the Lord said unto Moses, Fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand, and all his people and his land, and thou shalt do to him as thou didst unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon. So they smote him and his sons and all his people, until there was none left of him alive, and they possessed his land. So this is now Og, the king of Bashan, who is going out to fight against the children of Israel. And remember, God is fighting on their behalf. God has given them the victory even before they started the fight. So there is no weapon that can come against them. It is so true. If God is for you, nothing is going to come against you. So we have seen them conquer two kings, the king of Sihon and the king of Bashan. And they are moving on through the wilderness. Even though they're coming up against some situations where they have to fight, God is still allowing them to move through. And they themselves are finding themselves murmuring over things that they already should know God will provide for them. So here, that's the end of chapter 21. And thank you again for listening, for viewing, for commenting. I hope you continue to be blessed or inspired by anything you hear. And again, feel free to make your comments. And thank you once again. Remember, faith comes by hearing God's word. So until our next reading, take care. Bye.